Okay, welcome back to Pahrump Now. I'm your guest host, Chuck Muth. With me is Nevada Republican Party Chairman Mike McDonald, Nye County Republican Party Chairman Joe Brzezinski, and we're talking a little bit about, obviously the Assembly District 36 race. I just want to let everyone know, yes, we do encourage everyone to still vote for Dennis Hoff, keep the seat Republican, and a special web page has been set up for that. If you want information, go to keep36red.com. That's keep36red.com, and we'll keep people updated on this whole process as we go along. Mike, I know I cut you off before the break a little bit. I'll let you finish up your. Okay, well then we'll just move on.
No, I think it was great. I mean, to replace him, you can't. Again, he knew people that were larger than life, celebrities nationally, but also if Joe could talk about, I want to turn it back over to you. But the way the elected officials have come back to the party, we haven't seen this in 10, 20 years, and being able to even in Nye County, how they've been embracing the Nye County electorate here, which is fantastic. Our parades, we have elected officials showing up. They're up and down the streets. They're supporting the party out here in Nye County. That's important. That's what it takes. And I believe it stemmed from the enthusiasm that Joe and the rest of the team have built out here.
Yeah, I can remember. Well, you and I got started, 25 years ago in party politics before you got here.
I was 6 years
Joe,
old.
we're old dinosaurs.
I was 6 years old at the time. I was sick.
I mean, I remember the old days at a Lincoln Day dinner. You and I could count on one hand how many elected officials just showed up. So it's changed tremendously under your leadership and with the help of Dennis, hasn't it?
It has, and in fact, the candidates, our elected officials, are calling me. They need some help getting something passed. They'll say, "Hey, Joe, we need some help," or "Can you come to one event?" Crescent Hardy's called me. Dean Heller's called me. Adam Laxalt Adams been here 2 or 3 times at different fundraisers helping to build the party. And I feel really good about that because that's what we need. We need to work together. We have this past weekend we had James Smack, assistant controller, came in and talked to us. And he came by himself, didn't even tell me ahead of time, because I have an open door policy. If you're an elected Republican, you want to come and speak to our group, you come. Practically every month I have somebody coming in. Right. Sometimes 2 or 3 at a time, which makes the agenda a little tough.
Yeah.
But it's a good problem.
It's a good problem. I got too much money.
Much better than meeting in a phone booth.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so as we're talking here tonight, early voting has already started. Absentee ballots have come in. Mike, you've been following that a little bit, I think, closely statewide. Yeah. So what are you seeing out there in the electorate? We're hearing a lot of rumbling that turnout is a lot higher than it's been.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think when you look at it, we've worked on processes before. This is a totally unique process that's gone from the days with you and I when we had the paper ballots. But if you look at where it has gone now, we had the group from the National Republican Party has really been helping us a lot. The state party engaged with them about 5 years ago, to start rebuilding a new way to elect Republicans. And we've been using a large ground game, phones, social media. We have people here in Nye County that are really up on social media. But overall, if you look at having the President of the United States come here, now think about this.
When are you going to get him to come to Pahrump? That's what I think.
Yes, I want him here in Pahrump.
Look, I got him.
I mean, you got him to Elko.
This guy is fantastic. I mean, I've never seen somebody who works. I'm so honored to be. I mean, the company. To have him to call him as a friend. He's amazing. He's had a personal relationship with him. He keeps his word. What he's done to the economy is second to none. But more importantly, he's been here 3 times as President of the United States. 3 times as President of the United States. Now, I can't count this, like 12 times as a candidate and everything else. He's been to the Republican Party Central Committees once as a candidate, and once as President of the United States. He hasn't done it for anybody else. No other party in America has he done it for. He's done it for Nevada. So I think the importance to realize having him come here, what that it does, it excites our base so much. We had 10,000 plus up in Elko. Well, it was amazing, and they were all going to vote right afterwards. So you start to see the enthusiasm where they're taking up. Our absentee ballots are out, early voting. Republicans normally don't early vote. And we talked about that earlier.
Right.
We're both
traditional.
We're traditional.
Vote on
election day. Yeah. For the first time, I voted early. And I was, just like I can't say it if I'm not going to do it.
Heathen.
Yeah, I know. I broke our tradition. But if you think it's so vitally important that we elect all Republicans down that ticket, up and down the ticket, on the values that we have. And I believe what the president brings, Dennis was obviously right in that camp, in Nye County with the same perspective of keeping taxes low, fighting for your property rights, and it's vitally important that we keep this party red. It is 36 needs to be red.
Let me ask you,
absolutely, and if I could just interject.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Voter registrations are very key, and during our fall festival that we had the parade on I call him my super dynamo, and that's Terry Saveda. He picked up 46 voter registrations to get people to vote, and there was an excitement there to, yeah, give me that form. And so I feel that when people say it's going to be a year of the Democrats, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
I don't see it that way. But the Republicans have to come out and vote, and they have to vote for Dennis.
And that's exactly where I was going to go. Mike and I come from the political hellhole of Clark County, where all the bad Californians have moved. And the Democrats are going to win Clark County, as they always do, overwhelmingly. And the only way to counterbalance that statewide is to get those big Republican conservative votes from the rural. So talk a little bit about what you're doing here to make sure, it's one thing to be registered, but if you don't show up at the polls, it's the same as not being registered. So what are you doing here for Get Out the Vote?
You know, that's a good question. That's something we're working very diligently on. We have this week and next week we're doing door-to-door knocks. We're doing some phone calls to get people out to the vote. We have available drivers to pick people up. We have the senior center. We have Inspiration Senior Care Center, where we're going to have drivers go and be able to pick them up if they wanted to go vote. If not, we've helped people apply for absentee ballots. So that they get them, our phone calls at our headquarters to a point where the phone is constantly ringing. We have people working there and they can't even answer the phones quick enough. So there's a real interest, and so what we're doing then is telling people, get out and vote. If you want to vote, we'll help you get to the polls, whether it's early voting or the normal day of election. We're there to help you.
Okay, so we're talking about that. If someone needs help getting to the polls,
yes,
who do they call? How do they get in touch with?
Yes, they'll call the Republican headquarters at 775-252-2500.
Say it again, just to make sure.
Area code 775-272-2500.
2500. Okay.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the races, the important races, and I really want to focus on this gubernatorial race because, unfortunately, again, we're worried about if we lose District 36, we go into the super minority. Right. It's almost virtually impossible for Republicans to regain control of the Senate either. So we're going to have a Democrat Assembly, a Democrat State Senate, and if we have a Democrat governor, I think I think Governor Sandoval vetoed 41 bills in the last session.
Yeah.
So talk about how important it is that Adam Laxalt end up being our next governor and not Steve Sisolak.
And it's vitally important. I mean, that was something that Adam's been out here countless times. He's out here again this week. He's a man that works the rural communities, knows the values of the rural community. He cares about the people inside and out, urban and rural. And that's what's important, is you have somebody who's not so narrow-minded that he's pushing things away. It's vitally important that we have a Republican governor. If you want to see Donald Trump in 2020 and you want to make sure he's reelected as President of the United States, which I wholeheartedly do, we have to have Adam Laxalt as our governor. We have to be able to push that agenda and make sure that the right man is in the office, because that has to be something from the top-down ticket. If you care about the Assembly, or the bills that have been passed, again, this was Governor Sandoval, who's not as conservative as Laxalt. He vetoed 43. So I mean that, you have to.
So Adam would have probably vetoed 143.
Probably, and you have to give the respect to Governor Sandoval on that. We really appreciate the bills he did. We wish there was more, but I think that's his wheelhouse. That's where he wants to vote. And I think having Laxalt as the governor, it really drives what Joe and other rural communities have been putting together.
Now, there's something, and very few people are even talking about this because they're only looking at what's going to happen in the next session. Right. But the governor's there for 4 years, two sessions. Right. And I know you and I have been around the state for a long time. So talk a little bit about redistricting after the census in 2000. I mean, nobody's looking at that, why this is so important that a Republican governor. So talk a little bit about that.
Sure,
we've been through that process.
Yeah, we've been through it. We've had the backside of it. So when you look at having the governor up there and having the Assembly and the Senate work on stuff, the redistricting has to be, Republicans do it fair and balanced. That's our problem. As we come up, we make it fair for everybody. When the Democrats redrew the districts, they made them Democratic districts. So Republicans didn't stand a chance. And it was very, very important for us to try and get our message crossed. We saw what happens when it happens. Without having the right governor, it's going to be a blue state. They're going to redistrict that only Democrats can get elected. And the values that you cherish here in Nye County, that you cherish in your neighbors, will be gone.
Well, and it could be worse, Joe. I mean, if right now the way they drew District 36, you've got Nye County, rural Clark, in rural Lincoln County, but they could redraw that district and put all kinds of urban parts of Clark County
Yes.
in. So,
That's correct, and we would be in serious trouble then as far as the Republican Party is concerned.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so key.
But
to
also your
get that
values,
election.
your
Right.
values, and that's what I'm saying. Your water
Right.
rights, they'll suck the water rights away.
Right.
They'll do we're fighting right now to make sure that the rural community keeps their water rights.
Yep.
They'll go after those. Your taxes will start going. I mean,
And our gun rights, the Second Amendment, too.
Gun rights are under attack.
Yep, yep,
Right.
absolutely.
So talk a little bit about Adam Laxalt. He's been out to the party with you. I mean, you've got a good relationship with him as well.
Yes, I do. He's actually, before he announced he was going to run for governor, he came as was our keynote speaker to our Central Committee. He won our award we give every year to the most conservative, and he was the recipient of that in 2016. And if I need help, he's been a phone call away. And I really think he's our best choice. We want to keep the conservative values, and as far as Second Amendment rights are concerned, Adam is rock solid on that issue.
And as far as the party is concerned, I mean, it's so much better and easier for the parties to raise money and recruit volunteers when you've got a Republican governor
Correct.
in there who's engaged and active with the party. I know we're getting ready to wrap up. I want to give you an opportunity to plug any events that you've got coming up in Nye County, or any get out the vote thing, or long term. So I'll let you have the floor.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Chuck.
You got it.
Yes. Again, I'm appealing to everyone who's going to be going and voting. If you have any questions about who you should vote for, Dennis Hoff, definitely. So let's keep that seat red and vote straight Republican right down the ticket. Dean Heller, Crescent Hardy, Deb Strickland, Leo Blendo. These are people that need to be elected to make our Republican Party strong and get our county and country back in the right direction.
And I know we had some difficulty with the Reagan Day dinner. That's been postponed until
We still haven't finalized a date on that, but it'll be early next year.
early next year. Okay. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me today under some very
Thank you, Chuck.
difficult circumstances. Thank you for your service. I know what it's like to be a chairman, and I've told you both this before.
Yeah, I know.
The best kind of chairman to be is a former chairman. So, all right,
Correct.
thank you for joining us. This is Pahrump Now. I'm Chuck Muth, your guest host. Again, if you want more information on the keep36red.com is a website, so we can bring this one home for Dennis Hoff. He was a good friend to all of us, and he would have made one heck of a legislator. So with that, I thank you very much, and we'll see you again next week.